Hi guys, welcome back. So Nasdaq make all-time high today, finally. During this run-up, I said I expected Nasdaq to make the all-time high, and it did. But if you notice that recently, a lot of the run-up is driven by the mega cap, the FANG stocks. As you see, Nasdaq was up 0.79% and QQQ was up 0.93%. Usually when this happens, the capital are embracing the mega cap, the safe places for their money. Usually they are being careful. So I think we should be too. While the index are going up, making all-time high, it is an extreme different world on the other side within the crypto. Bitcoin was dropping really bad in the morning, was quite fearful. The whole time when Bitcoin was at the all-time high around 60,000, I didn't talk much about Bitcoin because I worry about the sudden crash one day. So that's why the whole time I was trying to be more careful because I was worried it was too hyped up, the run-up was too fast. So even though a lot of people asked me about Bitcoin like early February through March, April, I didn't talk about Bitcoin much. In fact, at that time I set a target that if Bitcoin falls back down to 28,000, I would consider a good opportunity. And when I set 28,000 target back then, to my friends around me, they thought I was crazy to see Bitcoin falling to 28,000 from 60-something thousand. And this morning, the lowest, we have reached 28,000 already. So this morning on the Discord, I said I would treat this as a golden dip because my target was met already. I don't expect it to rise right away after, but to ask for more at this point, I would think it's too greedy for myself. And the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index were at extreme fear level to be 10. So there's no surprise that my crypto or blockchain related stocks were quite beaten down again today. Like 9City, ticker symbol NCTY, and CAN, ticker symbol CAN, and also SOS. They were all beaten down today. The 9 was probably the most dramatic. In the morning, it was down another 19% at most. So I bought the dip at 12.2 when it was down another 16%. I also bought the dip for CAN because I think it looks like it has formed a double bottom. Anyways, I treat this as an opportunity. Like I said, I treat this crash of Bitcoin as a golden dip. So there is no reason for me to not take it as an opportunity, and there is no reason at all for me to cut loss at this point. For those of you who had stop loss trigger, I would be happy for you because it helped you avoid a big fall after that. And this is why it's important to have stop loss and avoided a lot of panicking at the moment or even cutting loss this morning when everything was falling so dramatically. And instead, you can stay more calm, being on the sideline, and think thoroughly whether you want to take this as a risk or opportunity. So first, let's talk about CAN, ticker symbol CAN. It's beaten down a lot, first of all, because the Bitcoin crashing, and second of all, because the Chinese government cracked down of the mining activities on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So right now, the market is full of fear about these miners-related companies, especially the Chinese one. And why I am still invested in them, I'll give you the reason. Number one, they are the world's leader in terms of the sales of the mining machine. So they are the supplier for the miners. So this banning of the crypto mining inside the Chinese country should not affect them that much because, like I said, most of their sales are from outside of the country. More than 80% last time I saw. So this is probably the least affected company out of the other ones. Second of all, I saw that they have miners set up outside of China and already operating. And third of all, what I care the most is their blockchain technology and together with artificial intelligence. Like I said, if I want to invest in crypto, I would buy the specific coin. like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but right now I'm investing in blockchain technology, and a lot of it is because of the future potential, the role it would play in the smart city. If you are a frequent follower, you know how bullish I am in the whole smart city project. And I believe that China will be for sure the first country to be able to roll out smart city in the world and then expand it to the other countries with the One Belt One Road project. This is why my investment portfolio are very heavy towards the smart city, because a lot of my stocks are heavily focused on the components of the smart city project. And I believe the blockchain technology will be able to revolutionize how government works, how the city and all the administration work change accordingly, as well as the financial market. I believe this would solve a lot of the problem from the government before, especially Chinese transparency and anti-corruption. So this is the big reason why I want to be very heavy in blockchain technology for the second half of 2021. Right now, for the smart city, the Chinese FANG companies like the BAT, Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, and also Huawei, all these big mega cap companies are working on smart city project. They take the whole city to make the module city, and they are kind of competing who can make it faster and better and roll out towards other cities later. But of course, these big companies are the face of it. They are like a contractor of the whole project, and then within the big project there are small components, and many of the components that require the high-tech companies to supply for each component. For example, all the components I drew out before, like the autonomous drive, HD map, the cloud computing, the big data, the AR technology, the drones, Internet of Things, etc. All of these components would be supplied from many companies, while the big tech companies would be like the contractor that supply the government and make the whole project. For example, Tencent is working for some cities in the Guangdong province to make smart city, and they are using LKCO Locan technology, our stock. Tencent is working with Locan for their super engine, the cloud computing technology, the data processing. So Tencent's project is called WeCity, and Alibaba's project is called ET City Brain, as well as Baidu and Huawei. And Alibaba's City Brain would be, of course, in the city of Hangzhou first, because that's where their headquarters is. The Hangzhou city is very proud of having Alibaba as the giant company. So back in a few years ago, the Hangzhou city already had a 5-year plan to be the first one to complete this City Brain project. But of course, the smart city is a very, very long project to do because it requires massive infrastructure, a lot of time to roll out, a lot of things to rebuild, and a lot of high technology to be employed. So of course, Alibaba's first would start with Hangzhou to begin with as the smart city project. And Hangzhou city aimed to be the first one to finish or mature or to be the most advanced in the smart city area. In fact, they even had this built, China Hangzhou Blockchain Industrial Park. It means that the Hangzhou city really wants to be the city for blockchain technology, to find the next Alibaba for Hangzhou. They are the first one to write blockchain technology in the Hangzhou Government City Report, and the importance right after artificial intelligence and augmented reality. So how does it relate to Ken? First of all, we have seen their technology yesterday in my last video. Their AI chip is supporting visual and vocal recognition and widely used in smart home, smart industrial park, smart energy, and smart agriculture. So I do think that they are one of the components in the smart city project. In the future, how the government works, I think it would be entirely different. All of the ID would become digital, facial recognition, right? So their vision of improving operational efficiency of the society to improve human life quality should align with what's needed for the components used in the smart city. And I think their vision of combining artificial intelligence and the blockchain technology would be making them one of the important players. And the company is based in Hangzhou, the city we just talked about, the hometown of Alibaba, the city that wants to be the first smart city rolled out in China and the city that focused the most in blockchain technology. So that's why, even though right now it's getting temporarily hit, I think in the long term, this is still a company with big potential. That's why I was having a profit of 30% and I didn't even take profit, because I think it can be much more than that. And I have not set a stop loss even. For the share price, I think it has formed a double bottom. At least it appeared to me like this. I don't know how much further it can dip, but I did not expect to see it in the 7 range again. So I decided to buy the dip. So I think right now a lot of the people had drawn direct equation between blockchain technology and Bitcoin or Ethereum. But the thing is, they are different. Bitcoin is based on blockchain technology, but blockchain technology is not only used for Bitcoin. Chinese government is trying to ban Bitcoin mining, but strongly encouraging the development of blockchain technology, and they will likely grow some future giants in the field of blockchain. And if we're lucky, Ken might be one of them, based on the research I show you. And for the 9, it dropped harder than anyone in the morning, at most 19%, because it's one of the most heavily affected. Because even though they had acquired some Canadian miners and planned to move overseas for their business, right now most of the current business is still in China. So that's why the crackdown would of course affect their current revenue for now. I read that their Canadian miners would be put in use later this year, maybe fall or winter. But I guess if the Chinese side is so strict, maybe it would make them speed it up more, I guess. I'm not sure about this. But at this point, I do think the bad news, a lot of them had been priced in the share price already, and the company seems undervalued. So I'm just gonna keep my position and see if it drops deeper, and I'll probably add a bit more. But for now, I have a big enough position, and I hope the company would come up with some PR press release for investors to know what's their plan. Last month in May, the company also announced to be mining Chia cryptocurrency. So Chia would be the 3rd biggest coin they mine, and the Chinese government is banning mostly Bitcoin and Ethereum mining and transactions, and did not mention Chia. So I guess that would be still okay. Unlike Bitcoin, which uses proof of work, POW, Chia uses proof of space and time, POST. So it would require less energy and might solve some issue, because the power consumption is actually a big problem for Bitcoin that is not solved yet. So let's see how it goes, and I hope the company can give out press release soon. And by the way, I know I've said this for quite a few days already about QS. Shaking, but I think it's getting interesting. After many days of shaking, it might be near the end, choosing a direction, and I'm hoping it's up. So keep an eye on QS. Question about SOS as well. Yes, I have still position holding for SOS. Today and yesterday, the gap was filled, but at least did not look too ugly. So I think there's still hope. The chart has gone weak, but I think with some consolidation or shaking, we still have hope. Everything else dropped a lot today, and it didn't even drop that much. Consider the least of the devil. ESE update. Haven't updated the Canadian stocks for a while, but as you see, a lot of the Canadian stocks have been continuously beaten down recently, so it's no surprise. ESE has been dropping for a while with no bad news, but mainly some good news once in a while. Maybe not recent 2 weeks. So I would think it's the macro environment in Canada that affects it more. So it should be more temporary. I would say wait for the sell-off of Canadian companies to be over. We should see rebound soon. Right now it is around the support area, close to my buy-in prices from last time, around 1.1 to 1.2. I do think we're not far from the end. Maybe another final shake to 1.1 Canadian dollar. before we see the bottom again. Someone asked me about VIPS. I think recently it's the whole Chinese market. All the e-commerce websites, the big techs are being beaten down a lot. If you look at Tencent, Alibaba, Baidu, they have been lying down on the bottom for a while, even though the market and a lot of the other smaller Chinese stocks had rebound. So I think it's again more the macro than the company's fundamental, because the company's intrinsic value is there should be the time when this is over and the company would go back to the fair value. Right now the PE is at 11, quite cheap, the company. The strongest support I would say is around 14 to 15 area. So if it can get to that range, I would think it's good to buy the dip. Okay, now that's it for today. And if you have enjoyed this video, please give me a big like and write me a great comment. And I'll see you in my next video. That's it, guys. Hope you can find my videos helpful. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and give me a big like. Thank you.